The goal of this project was to answer the question, how are students across Chicago taking advantage of Chicago's City of Learning opportunities? We analyzed data from CCOL and from the City of Chicago. The CCOL dataset includes information on the programs they offer, their users, and information for each of the Chicago public schools. The City of Chicago dataset includes in-depth information on all Chicago public schools and various student statistical makeups for each school.
The first step in determining how students are taking advantage of CCOL opportunities was to see how many and what type of badges were being earned by all CCOL users. This map displays the average number of badges each zip code has earned. This visualization displays the number of badges that have been earned within each zip code. Then, this visualization shows how many badges have been earned in each category. The bars are color-coded by intensity, with the darkest blue as the most earned badge category, and the lightest blue as the least earned badge category. Then, as you click on a zip code in the map, the other two visualizations change to reflect the badges earned in that zip code. As you can see here, the data that is visible is now specific to the zip code you clicked on over in the map, with the most earned badges at the top and the least earned badges down at the bottom. This lower graph also changes to show the data that is relevant to the zip code you selected in the map. Only the categories with badges that have been earned are showing, and the order of those categories changes based on how many badges in each category have been earned. If we select another zip code on the map, the data changes again to display only the information that is relevant to that zip code.
Now this visualization encodes the City of Chicago dataset rather than the CCOL dataset. The map is color-coded by average percentage of low-income students in each zip code. The darker the red, the larger percentage of low-income students in that zip code. The table to the right is a breakdown of each school's composition of low-income students and is categorized by zip code. As in the previous visualization, when you click on a zip code in the map, the table displays only the information of each school in that zip code. As you can see, the majority of Chicago public schools have a very high percentage of low-income students. It is for this reason that we have decided to further analyze the CCOL data by percentage of low-income students. We wanted to determine if the income level of students in schools impacts their involvement in CCOL.
We included this graph as a way to show the dramatic difference between the number of schools with a high percentage of low-income students and the number of schools with a low percentage of low-income students. This is important to note because we cannot simply compare the badges earned by each school. We need to compare the relationship of the average number of badges earned by each school with the number of individual users each school has. It is also important to note that by viewing the data in this manner, there is no obvious relationship between the number of badges a school has earned and its percentage of low-income students. This side of the graph may look like those schools have earned fewer badges, but that is only because there is such a high concentration of schools with a high percentage of low-income students in the City of Chicago.
This visualization, however, is comparing the number of users each school has with the number of badges they have earned. This is a more accurate way to compare schools with a low percentage of low-income students with those with a high percentage of low-income students. It accounts for the fact that there are many more schools with over 65% low-income students than those with less than 65%. The scatter plot depicting the comparison clearly shows through the lines of best fit that the schools with a low percentage of low-income students average a greater number of badges than schools with a high percentage of low-income students with the same number of users. As you can see, if we compare the two trend lines at 20 users, the orange line is lower and the blue line is higher. This means that schools with a low percentage of low-income students earn more badges on average than those with a high percentage of low-income students. Then, the two bar graphs, similar to the first visualization, break down the number of badges earned by category for schools with a low percentage of low-income students and schools with a high percentage of low-income students. As you can see, exploring Earth and Science is the most popular category in both graphs. And while the number of badges varies in each category, the top 5 categories are the same for all income percentages. However, it is important to note that schools with a low percentage of low-income students have earned a large number of badges in storytelling in addition to exploring Earth and science, while schools with a high percentage of low-income students earn more badges in a wider range of categories before numbers drastically decrease.
In response to the question we asked ourselves throughout the creation of this visual story, students who attend schools with a higher percentage of low-income students earn fewer badges on average, implying that they take less of an advantage of CCOL opportunities than students who attend schools with a lower percentage of low-income students.